Welcome to the hottest movie review on the internet today, the A-List Review. I am your host, the Game Changer, Wes Troop. And we are going to be doing a couple of very special episodes for the end of the year. So I'm being joined by Dominic Ferrante, who saw a lot of these movies right along with me. We're going to start out with the worst of the year because, you know, not every movie that comes out we see is a good one. Some of them are god-awful, and I figured you've seen a lot less than I did of the worst ones, but I figured each one of those should get one last punch to the balls as we send them off. So, did you have any dishonorable mentions this year? Of any movies you didn't like that you saw?
You know what? I'm not even going to worry about the dishonorable mentions because I did not write them down. So I'll just go. Let me start off with my 10th.
I'll give my dishonorable mentions because I have a bunch of them. So these movies, some of these, if you saw my review, you'll say, "Oh my God, I can't believe this didn't make it onto your worst list." I hated some of these movies, but I just hated 10 more even worse. So my dishonorable mentions, and I'm sure you're gonna have some of these on there: Curse of La Llorona, Midsummer, Angry Birds 2, Angel Has Fallen, Crawl, The Intruder, Wonder Park, The Kitchen, Replicas, and Serenity. All bad movies, but still not my least favorite of the year. So, you want to go ahead and give your number 10?
Well, I will agree with you that The Intruder was on my dishonorable list.
Okay, yeah.
Did not make my list.
That was a crazy movie.
Did not make my list. And I'm actually giving Midsummer some props. It's not even a dishonorable mention for me.
It was a funny experience, I'll tell you that.
Well, number 10 on my list is Godzilla, King of the Mountains.
Yeah.
Complete and utter trash. Complete and utter trash. Who's the girl that's in her, Millie Bobby Brown? Something
Yeah,
like
yeah, 11.
Oh yeah, I was hoping she'd get eaten right away. I mean, it was just hokey.
It was bad writing. It was really bad writing.
Terrible script. They threw all those damn monsters in there, and it just was just an amalgamation.
It was
of feces.
20 minutes of excitement, and the rest was just dumbness.
It wasn't even excitement because it was. I didn't even think the effects were that good. It was just bad.
I can't even remember most of it. I remember there was that random twist with Vera Farmiga, and I was like, what the hell?
Vera Farmiga, you're much better than that.
Yeah,
okay?
Stick to The Conjuring. My number 10 is The Prodigy. And I remember hating this movie. I think we had the theater to ourselves for this one, if I remember right.
I believe so. We were more entertaining than the movie.
It was really bad. I remember sitting there just hating what I was seeing on the screen. It was just another childhood possession movie, which are a dime a dozen these days. Oh, God. I just remember being angry. And that's the only thing I really remember. And then it sucked.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can actually tell you where it is on my list.
Okay.
Because it is on my list. That was my number 2 most hated movie. I hated that movie.
Wow.
It was terrible. Who was it? The star of it was in...
Orange is the New Black. Taylor, whatever.
They should lock her ass back up. I'm telling
And it was Georgie from It, was the kid.
Well, I'm glad the clown got him.
Yeah, I wish the clown had got him in the beginning of this movie, too.
Okay.
But, yeah, that movie sucked.
Now, are you ready for my number 9?
Yeah.
My number 9 most hated movie this year, Men in Black International.
Oh, shots fired at me.
Men in Black International was a complete waste. Chris Hemsworth was wooden in this movie. It looked like he was just there to collect a paycheck.
Tessa Thompson.
I don't know.
She seemed like she was trying.
She hasn't been in anything that I've really liked.
Creed?
But she was the weakest part of that movie.
Well, she wasn't supposed to be the main.
Well, I understand that, but she's still the weakest part of that movie. I don't know. She seems like a very nice person. I've seen her interviewed and everything like that, but maybe her acting style just isn't my cup of tea. So number 9 for me, Men in Black International.
You didn't even like the little Pawnee?
Hey, he was all right.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Make the whole movie about him.
That'd be like making episode 1 all about Jar Jar.
Exactly. Know your strengths.
So, yeah, Men in Black didn't make my worst list, but it didn't make my favorite or anything, though. But, yeah, I could see how it got pretty much panned universally. My number 9 is Black Christmas. Yeah, this would be on your list, I guarantee. This movie, and by the way, spoiler alert for some of these, but really not. Because don't go see these movies. Black Christmas, it was just it started out as your run-of-the-mill slasher movie, but worse. Oh my god, and then it just turned into batshit insanity, which sometimes might be good, but not in this case. When they show who's responsible in the preview, like I thought they were doing when I saw the preview, I'm like, oh, they just told you who is behind all this. And it is, but for reasons that you would never guess in a million years. It's just, it tries to be a female empowerment movie, but it just sucks.
All right. Number 8 on my list of most hated movies this year. Ma. I hated the movie Ma. It had a cool premise to it. And what's her name?
Octavia Spencer, yeah.
Octavia Spencer was actually pretty good in this movie.
She's an Oscar-winning actress, so she should be.
Yeah, but it's just, the script was bad.
It didn't play out good.
Yeah, it didn't play out well. It really didn't. It just, it could have been a cool movie. And that's what bums me out, is this could have been a really cool movie with a little creepier twists, but...
And that was another one where they show one of the final scenes in the preview. Yep,
exactly.
Where she takes the picture. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait a minute, we're 5 minutes from it being over. Yeah, that didn't make my worst list either, but I didn't like that movie too much either. That was a meh rating from me.
Okay.
Number 8 on my list, continuing with the horror theme, is Countdown. And this is just another horrible horror movie. Is this my worst horror movie? Yeah, this is the last horror movie I have on my list. So this was the worst of the bunch I saw. And rightfully so. This came out Halloween weekend. I saw the preview for it maybe 2 weeks before to realize it even existed. They were just trying to hide this thing, I think. It was where that phone app tells you what time you're gonna die, so it was kind of a Final Destination ripoff. And again, it could have worked, but it just was god-awful. And a main character comes in halfway through the movie. And I'm like, oh, this guy is actually the second main character. Okay, let's bring him in 45 minutes in. Why not? It's just bad.
Wrap it up, Wesley. People are falling asleep.
So yeah, Countdown, another one, horror movie that sucked.
My number 7, worst of the year was Crawl. I hated that movie. It wasn't even entertaining. Sometimes bad movies could be entertaining. This one just wasn't. It was just silly, these gigantic alligators going after you.
There was
not crocodiles. Where are they?
I don't remember.
Alligators. Yes, crocodiles are in the Nile. Okay.
Yeah. And there was no explanation why they were so gigantic, was there?
No, that they were so gigantic and why they kept...
I thought maybe there'd be a radioactive barrel
no, just terrible.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Yeah, I wasn't scared. And it was like an hour and 28 minutes, and I was sitting there like this. And... All right, my number 7. and I'm sure she's gonna end up back on here again, is the Rebel Wilson Anne Hathaway movie. Oh, I know she's gonna pop up again because I have her on my list later. The Hustle, quote unquote comedy, where it was like a female version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It was just god awful. Anne Hathaway doing that horrible British accent, fake British accent. Rebel Wilson just doing her usual "I'm fat, laugh at me" jokes, which is all she's got at this point, I'm assuming, because I haven't seen much else. Just the chemistry sucked, the jokes sucked, everything about that movie sucked. It was just bad. Luckily, you didn't have to sit through that one, but I think there were some twists that you saw coming a million miles away, of course, with the cons and stuff. It was lame.
Keep it concise, Wesley. Number 6 for me was La Llorona. The Curse of La Llorona, whatever, Uncle Ben's fried rice or something. I don't know. It was just bad. It was just bad. That's all there's you can say. I mean, it was just...
Didn't we come up with a better ending?
Yeah, we did come up with a better ending.
Where something about the music box or something?
No, it was somebody going back in time and killing the writers of this movie. That's what it was.
No, we tried to... We said, our version, it would be like... It would have something to do with the object that would end up at the museum for the Warrens, since it's part of the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, it was not good. I mean, they wasted... I don't know if anybody's watching that show on Netflix, I think Dead to Me, or something like that. What was the name? With Linda Cardellini in it. And she is a great actress. I loved her in Freaks and Geeks, but what a waste.
She was just in Green Book.
Yes.
That won Best Picture last year. So that's a way to follow it up, isn't it? Nothing scary. Just like all these other horror movies, nothing scary at all to see. But here's a scary movie. Playmobil, the movie, is my number 6. You want to talk about a blatant ripoff of the Lego movie. The original Lego movie I loved. This is like taking the original Lego movie and saying, let's have no creativity, no laughs, no anything, and just, there you go. There's Playmobil, the movie. A humongous ripoff. The story didn't even make any sense. They even stole the part where there's the live action opening from the Lego movie. Did it later on, but so.
Well, speaking of the Lego movie, the Lego movie is my 5th worst movie of this year.
Number 2.
Past year. That's
Lego movie part 2.
Yeah, Lego movie part 2.
Yeah, not the first one.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many. I'm Batman, so you can get through. Terrible. I really have taken a serious and deep dislike to Chris Pratt. I mean, the only role I can basically stomach him in is Star-Lord now.
Yeah. I know your thoughts on Jurassic Park.
To me, he's just a walking penis with teeth, I'm telling you.
He's a Indiana Jones. It seems like he's always auditioning for Indiana Jones.
Right.
In every movie he's in.
He's great as Star-Lord.
Yeah.
And everything like that.
I love him as that.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Right.
The only thing I liked in that movie were the Raptors in Lego Movie 2.
I don't even remember the Raptors.
That was the best part, from what I remember. Continuing on with animation, number 5 on my list, Arctic Dogs. What a dog of a movie this was. Oh my God, this was the Norm of the North of this year. It had Jeremy Renner as this fox. It just felt like they just handed him the script and he's like, okay, this is what we're going to do today. And that was the whole cast. Heidi Klum was in it. Alec Baldwin. It was the most random cast. They were just reading right off the paper. The animation was uninspired. The story was something you'd see on Nick Jr. It was bad.
Okay. Number 4, Dark Phoenix. Why another mutant movie? Why another X-Men movie?
Especially when...
Just give it to Marvel and let them fix everything and get it done. Just not even worth. I wouldn't even watch it on Netflix. It's just that bad.
Yeah, it was just one of those movies where you're like, why is this happening? I liked Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy playing their roles, but that's about it. I was glad Jennifer Lawrence died, so she's not in it very much. I thought Cyclops was god-awful, but the rest, yeah, it was not good.
Didn't need to be made. Did not need to be made.
All right, number 4 for me, mine is Playing with Fire, the John Cena family movie with him as the fireman and stuff. Oh my God, some of the worst jokes I've seen all year. You could just feel like, I don't know, you could just feel it bombing as the words came out of their mouth. And you're like, they're not going to do that joke, are they? And they changed the littlest girl's diaper with a fire suit on. There's a Darth Vader joke there. And then all of a sudden, crap comes up on the shield of the face mask. And it's just like, oh my God. That's all you have to know about that movie. And when it begins with Uptown Funk, when you see a brush fire in the first 2 seconds of the movie, you know what type of movie it's going to be. Not a good one. I wish I hadn't seen it.
Number 2, Prodigy. We already discussed it.
No, 3.
Oh, 3. Yes. This was a tie. I could not. Same genre, but I could not differentiate. Pet Sematary and Child's Play.
Wow!
One of them, Pet Sematary. Look, a lot of Stephen King's books don't translate well to movies. They really don't. They didn't need to remake this. It was much better as the TV movie with Fred Gwynn. It was just...
You hated,
I hated
what's his name's accent?
I hated, John Lithgow, who's one of my favorite actors. I love this. He kind of went in and out of accent a little bit. Terrible. And
the only thing I liked was the cat.
Mark Hamill should just be ashamed of himself. I like Mark Hamill in the Star Wars universe. He seems like a good guy. He's very funny. But Child's Play, that was just an abomination. It really was. It was terrible. And if I would have given it more thought, I probably would have put these two both in the number 2 position.
I'm surprised that because you hated these.
Yeah, I probably would have put them in the number 2 position because they're not going to unseat my most hated movie this year. But I would like to switch those to number 2 and move the Prodigy to 3.
Okay, so that was your number 2, then Child's Play and Pet Sematary.
Right.
The only thing, I sort of thought Child's Play was okay. I liked the "This is for Tupac" line, and I liked
one line.
And I liked when the guy gets stabbed in the neck and the blood squirts all over the little girl at the shop.
One line. The movie's, let's say the movie's 90 seconds, and it took 90 minutes. It took 4 seconds to utter "This is for Tupac." That's the only redeeming value of this movie.
Yeah. My number 3 is Cats. What in the hell were these people thinking? All you had to do was take the cast and put them in the makeup and the costumes, but they couldn't even do that. They had to CGI the crap. The worst part, it wasn't even finished, and it was in theaters. The CGI wasn't finished. You saw Judi Dench's wedding ring. Because, cats wear wedding rings. That's a known fact. There were a couple good songs, but you have to sit through 45 minutes of nonsense here, another 45 minutes of nonsense, 10-minute long songs. Oh, it was just torture. It was bad. You should be glad. I said you would have walked out 10 minutes in.
Go ahead with
Cats. My number 2 is Hellboy. Surprisingly, I hated this worse than Cats. I just remember sitting there and being miserable through this movie. It was another rated R superhero movie that didn't have to be, taking the success of Deadpool there was a character who was a henchman who every other word out of his mouth was an F-bomb. It's like, okay, this movie is trying way too hard, and I hated it. I hated almost every minute of this movie. I went up, when it was going near the final battle, I said, you know what, I'm going to the bathroom. And luckily the trailer for Rise of Skywalker came out that day, and I was sitting there in the bathroom watching that, and I had to debate about going back to the theater. And it was in the last 20 minutes of the movie. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to go back in there to even see how it ends. So, and that I sit through everything. And for that to come across my mind, it's got to be bad.
Are you ready for my number one?
I think I know what it is.
Rebel Wilson in Isn't It Romantic? No, it's not. It's a piece of cow shit, actually. Rebel Wilson annoys me on so many levels. She is not funny. Okay? She can't act. Her singing voice is terrible, even though she didn't do much singing in this, if at all, in this movie.
She sang that I Want to Dance with Somebody, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. I was just hoping like a steamroller would go down the street and just flatten her. There's been nothing that I've seen Rebel Wilson in that I would remotely recommend.
Yeah, you don't even like Pitch Perfect.
I hated Pitch Perfect, and it was because of Rebel Wilson. This is my Rebel Wilson diatribe here. It's just...
The Rebel Wilson Haters Club.
Exactly. I would like to be president of that. She is not funny. She's annoying as hell.
Oh, she was in Cats too, by the way.
Oh, well,
that's
that's another reason I wouldn't see it.
Her and James Corden making fat jokes the whole time.
That's it. It was just terrible. Liam Hemsworth, the lesser of the talented Hemsworth brothers.
They call if we can't get Chris, brother.
Yeah, call if we can't get Chris to do it.
The guy from Guarantee.
It doesn't even matter.
Adam Devine.
Yeah, Adam Devine, who I normally like. I like Adam Devine. Terrible movie.
Yeah. My number one worst, if you've watched this show before, this should come as no surprise. Because this guy's been topping the list for years of my worst movies of the year. He's the king, Tyler Perry, and now he's got Medea's Family Funeral. A movie where, take a guess, half of it's Madea sitting in the parlor talking with the other people not Tyler Perry's dressed up as, like a nutty professor ripoff, in that damn parlor room where half his movies take place, talking about nothing for 20 minutes as the camera just takes it all in, and the plot just sits there hanging in limbo. This movie ends with one of the characters going off with Mike Tyson. That's literally the ending of this movie. So, okay. Supposedly it's the last Madea movie. I'm praying to God it is, because these things get worse every single time. And you just can't fathom that he'll beat himself to make a worse movie, and he does. It's like the producers. He's trying to make the worst movie possible.
I'm glad I didn't see it.
So, that is our worst of the year.
Worst of the year.
For 2019. We'll be back with an episode where we talk about the best of the year, thankfully. Which will be much different movies. And again, these are our personal lists. If Madea was one of your favorite movies this year, I'm sorry.
and I go see someone professionally, please.
But remember, these are our lists. They might not match up with yours, but that's what we think were the worst movies of the year. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe right here on YouTube, youtube.com/westside515. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/WestTruePlaylist. And of course, you can follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram @WestAlist. Until next time, Troop out.